but, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're out beating the bushes for them. I was
Yeah.
a truant officer 100 years ago, and now, a lot of the kids that I cited their parents, they're in what I call the society page in the newspaper, you know, the arrests.
Right.
And at the time that I was citing their parents were in the society page, you know.
It was
Sure.
the thing I was probably most shocked about with child welfare, how there was not the support of education. People could quit school in 6th grade. I was shocked. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm
Yeah,
glad to hear that.
the easiest remedy for it is if a child gets a probation officer. That's fantastic, because the probation officers are awesome. You just call them up and say, hey, Billy Bob's not in school today, and they either go over or they send a police officer over and arrest them and bring them to JDH and put them there for the evening or for the day and explain to them why tomorrow they're gonna get up and they're gonna go to school. And so they're wonderful. So,
Good, thank you.
yep.
I think that's one thing too, and I think another thing is like I see a lot of, in our little district, parents' excused absence that really becomes
Oh,
an issue.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I mean,
expose
it's
the
just
kids.
every little thing,
Oh, he's sick. Or
you know, that comes
she's,
up.
yeah.
Yes. It doesn't take long for parents to understand what's excused and what's not, because there are only certain things we can excuse.
Yeah,
And tell us the child's sick and,
you know, guys, is there a way to educate them on how important it is, that what they lose by missing one day? You know,
yeah.
there was a commercial on the radio, and I think it was out of California, that if you miss one day a month, that's 10% of your school year.
Mhm.
You know, I never thought of that, with one day a month, what's that? Well, yeah, that's 10% of what your,
But if you don't go to school, you might not know what 10%.
About one every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a couple of different parents in Adel,
yeah.
talked to them about attendance. So, not this year, but last year.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's complicated, just more complicated.
Oh, it's extremely complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, it's extremely complicated, you know, because there's children, you know, under state direction, and there's children that the parents have more issues than the child does, and there's children that are getting themselves up and coming to school just because that's where breakfast is at. You know, there's nothing at home, so it's, yeah, it's
And
very
your
complicated.
savvy parents will, if it's a high school kid, they'll get them into homeschooling. They'll just take, I used to cite them, I'd give them tickets. And, they would end up putting them in homeschooling, and because of the law, there really is no penalty. You can test them and
3,
10th
5, 8,
grade.
and 11.
they can blow it. I literally tested kids that had gone into homeschooling in 8th grade, and they took the test. And after really pressuring them, I got them to take the test in 10th grade. Absolutely no growth whatsoever. No growth whatsoever. And it doesn't matter, because then they get to take it again in 11th grade. And again in 12th grade, by which time they're leaving.
They're 18.
Yeah, there's no penalty whatsoever. There was a little bit of an impetus to go to school when they used to have to sign off for attendance or a student to get a driver's license. But I don't know whether that's still being enforced.
That's an effective deal, because there's some states back east, if you start failing, the state pulls your driver's license.
Yeah, and that's what it should.
Oregon can do the same thing.
Oregon can too?
But it doesn't do any good for homeschool.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't make any good.
Steph?
Well, personally, I don't think truancy is a school issue. I think it's a law enforcement issue. It's against the law for your kids not to go. I don't like it that that we're spending that money and your time. could be better spent on the kids that wanna be here. But that has nothing to do with, what you're doing. That's my personal opinion. But we got to, so Seroptimus, I have no board report. Seroptimus had, the new principal and AD from Lakeview High School come and talk, and, I was very impressed. They called one another Mr. They didn't call them by just their last name, which I know is the current thing, but, and they both had ties on. It was just nice, and it sounds like they're excited and doing good things there, so.
I've been very impressed with both of them.
Yeah, that's it.
Quiet.
Well, on a positive note, last year we did kids clubs for the first time on Wednesdays, early release 1:30 to 3, and we averaged 30 to 40 kids by the end of the school year. So as of count of yesterday, we had 12, so I brought 24 snacks and we had 38 kids. So I'm calling to have snacks and water delivered to them, and ran out and grabbed them, so yeah. And we had 12 kids that were new to the school district, that hadn't been there last year, so. And a lot of faces we didn't recognize there, so we're growing. So
Fantastic.
something fun
This is
for
just
the
the
kids.
second year for that program.
Yeah. And we didn't start till January last year. School was half over, so yeah.
One thing that's kind of happened in Maydell is the staff went to that restraint training that they had for 2 days, and we're real happy with it. Maydell staff actually won the little deal at the end where they had a scenario. so
Oh, I
they-
didn't know that, I
Yeah.
didn't hear that, did they?
Yeah. And the biggest feedback I got back from Stacy is that the restraint training, excuse me, is kind of, doesn't give the picture. It's a intervention training. Most of the training was about how to know that a kid sitting there not doing something is about to come apart. And the little signs that you need to start talking to him or try and talk him down before he goes
They
over the ledge.
escalate, yeah.
And they really got a lot from the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very much about prevention.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it pays, although you're talking about that, we had an issue on, I think it was Monday, where one of our kids just kind of blew up, you know, and just started hitting and screaming and that sort of thing, so. Anyway, but other than that, I have nothing, so. Financial report, Sarah, I guess you're up.
Yeah, I don't really have anything either, honestly. I've kind of been on the run, and I've been gone for the last Thursday till Monday, and then just haven't had a lot of time to prepare anything to talk about today, but if anybody has questions or comments.
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's hear them.
On the gray sheet, expenses,
Yes,
some of it doesn't add up.
okay,
If you go down to like homeschool supervision, the budget's roughly 2,900. Year-to-date, we've spent roughly 250,
yeah,
but, you know, there's only 1,000 left, roughly.
yeah. This report, we took out the column that said encumbrances because it was confusing, but it doesn't remove it from the formula
Oh,
of
okay.
of your remaining balance, because if we have a purchase order or if we have somebody's salary designated to that line,
Okay.
it removes it from the balance, because technically, we're planning on spending it, and I don't want anybody else thinking that it's there to spend.
I see.
Um,
I figured it was something like that.
And you know, maybe I need to put the encumbrances back in there just from the logistical standpoint, so the report makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was a good explanation, just, you
Well,
know,
it
maybe.
would be
So
nice,
then-
yeah.
And we've heard it
Just-
before.
So then the budget balance, in a sense, is unencumbered funds that are left?
The unencumbered funds remaining, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Good catch.
Well, then there's a line where budget balance is larger than adopted budget.
I like those kind of balances
Speech ideology.
on the speech always.
And the contingency, the 6,000, 7,000,
Yeah.
probably too.
Yeah, I'll have to look at those, because I'm not sure what would be making it reflect that
5,300
way.
is that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've never seen it do that before.
Actually, yeah, the contingency especially doesn't make sense because there should be nothing
Well, there should be a balance.
interfering in that formula. Like there's the
Yeah.
budget and there's no charges, there's no encumbrances, there's
Right.
no.
So it should be 120.
Mhm. Yep,
I don't know, maybe there's a genie at the bank that's just putting money into it.
I know. We're gonna have to look at this. Yeah,
Oh, 5,300 is the same.
yeah.
Good catch.
Anybody else? You have homework.
I do. This is good.
Superintendent's report.
All right, I passed that out to you folks. As I said earlier, last week I attended five board meetings in 4 nights and got all the MOUs out, other than Plush. Their board meeting got moved and I wasn't told about it, so I will be bringing their MOU to them this month. So we hired a new SLP assistant. Her name is Brittany McCrary. She is the physical body that I told you about that is going along with Chisa, who is our video SLP out of Houston. So she's going to the schools and getting the kids, and she's helping with photocopying, things that Chisa needs for the kids to have. And then as she gets more and more in tune to what she's doing, she'll be helping with the IEPs and helping with that paperwork. Stevie has resigned. She resigned last year. She retired from being an assistant, but she was still doing the custodial. She's resigned from that position. She's staying on. I just saw her tonight. She's just staying on just to help us out until we get somebody hired. But she's fully retiring. Something about grandkids or something, or something selfish. I know it was.
Gotta travel to see
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
They're not
so,
here, so yes.
So we've posted that position. I talked to Debbie today. I think we've got 3 or 4 persons applied already, so that'll be closing here pretty soon. So it's, I think was it 5 or 6 hours a week? I think it is, something like that.
It is.
Yeah, so. I attended the special ed conference, the October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with Jana. And I went through a dyslexia training, talking about the interventions, the screening tests and stuff that they've been using. It's frustrating to me. They're really using this term dyslexia. And it's not a term that it has a real solid definition. They have a definition for what they're calling it. Some people say dyslexia means you can't read. Some people say dyslexia means you reverse letters. There's different definitions to it. So, and we have a screening test that talks about saying that your child has dyslexia tendencies, or that these are types of things that we see in children with dyslexia. And they are telling us, they're telling the people that they should use the term dyslexia and tell parents that your child has, tendencies of dyslexia. And it really frustrates me because they're wanting to label this kid. And as a parent, I don't hear the word tendencies, I just heard the word dyslexia.
Is dyslexia a medical diagnosis?
Well, yes, that's my understanding. And that's the way I've always treated it. And what they're talking about, though, in all of the training that I did on that day, it was a full 8-hour training. It was all about just the normal interventions that we do with kids every single day that we've been using since I started teaching. Johnny can't read. Well, let's find out why. Let's talk to him. Let's have him read something. Let's do a diagnostic thing on him, and let's look at. Well, I see what he's doing. He's not putting the suffixes on the end of the word, so he's cutting them off. Well, let's work on that. And you're just figuring out what the deal is with the child and giving him some extra time, more face-to-face time with an instructional assistant or with the teacher or something. I don't know. It just they've muddied the waters, and I don't like it. But anyway, that's my take on. A new device that I just found out about is called Angel Sense. The lawyer, the Hungerford lawyer told us about this. Angel Sense is a device that they can attach to the child. I don't know if it's a bracelet, what it is, and it has a GPS tracker in it. So they can physically see where their child is at all points of the day. The issue that the lawyer said that they're having with it is it also has a microphone on it. And so the parent can hear everything that's going on. Well, the state of Oregon has an eavesdropping law. It's against the law to do that. So there's still the issue of the parent saying, hey, my child has a Angel Sense device, so we'll be listening to what's going on.
Is
And
recording also, or can go either way?
they could record it, sure, yeah. And there's been some issues because, you can take a recording of something and you can manipulate that recording to make it say whatever you want once you got the person's voice. And so, they gave us some forms that, for the school, that says, no, your child cannot have that unless the microphone is turned off during school hours. The device, the GPS part can still be activated, but the microphone has to be turned off. And it is done by Angel Sense themselves. It's not done by the parent. So you get the parent to sign the form is sent in to Angel Sense, and then it can be turned off. And the lawyer is fine with that. But there's some real concerns with that because it's eavesdropping is what it is. You don't even know that's happening.
Now, what would keep the parent from calling and say, I changed my mind, turn it back on, and not tell you?
I don't know that they can do that because it's a contract with the school and the parent. And so, if it's signed by the school and it's signed by the parent. So I would think Angel Sense would have to.
And I would assume it's on a timing thing.
It's a
School
time,
hours.
yeah,
School hours.
just during school hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
when things get complicated.
yeah.
Yeah, God, I'm glad my parents didn't have that.
Yeah.
Let's see, he's not at
Probably
school.
would've cut
I
down.
know, your parents were.
Smoking in the boys' room comes to mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's a terrible thing to do.
When I was asked twice where I was, what's the matter, don't you trust me?
Like he's
And what
on
was the answer?
probation.
No, they didn't.
I said, yes, we trust you, but the problem is we're standing where you said you are. And you're not here. Yeah. Just an update, I've got everything scheduled for the flight team training, that's coming up November 5th through the 7th. I've got a retired teacher, I've got law enforcement, I've got a child welfare person, I've got a juvenile justice person, I've got 2 clergy, somebody from the health district, I've got 2 ESD employees, and I've got 3 counselors from the school districts. So I've got a real good mix of folks to be part of this group, so.
Ruth, tell me what that is again.
Okay, so the flight team is a group of people that, in the event of a tragedy in a school, child's death, teacher's death, something of that nature, we would be called. Here, they just called me here at the ESD. I would call these folks, say, hey, we've got an issue, this is what's going on, da, da, da. We would deploy, we'd grab a couple of cases of water, we'd grab some granola bar snacks, whatever, paper, pencil, drawing paper, pens. We'd go to the site, we'd set up a safe room and have a place where the kids can come, cry, talk to an adult, draw pictures, write goodbye letters, whatever. We'll always have a licensed staff member on the group so that if a teacher breaks down and needs to leave their classroom, we would have somebody be able to go into the classroom, take over the
Nice.
classroom until the teacher can regain their composure.
Right.
And so, this really came to light last fall, or excuse me, last spring, when we had the death up in North Lake of the student. And I talked to the Superintendent David up there and stuff, and I had nothing for him. I couldn't help him in any way. I was like, man, this is not good.
Yeah.
We gotta have something in this community. So, this will be countywide. Any one of the districts can ask for their assistance, and we'll drive up and be there first thing as soon as we can and get it going. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
but we've got a 3-day training, and it's a really good training. I have not been through it, but I've talked to people through it, or that have been through it and things, and it really looks at the grieving process and those kinds of things. And because we have such a mix of people, and they always want that, they make sure that people are all using the same language, that nobody is taking in their own agenda into the room or anything of that nature. They usually, they try to keep it real clean, and stuff like that, so it's not controversial, so, yeah. So we're working on that. The tennis meetings we already just talked about. I'm working on a $10,000 priority grant that Vicki and I are both been talking about and stuff. And I came up with a thought today, and I talked to both of the schools that are involved, North Lake and Lakeview, about using the monies to send staff to, there's an early learning conference coming up the first week of November. And that's for early learning. North Lake was extremely excited about that idea because they're sending a number of people. And then there is a whole child summit that is in the third week of January. And both school districts are like, yes, we would love to be able to send some team there and send some folks. So what I'm thinking is that we use that monies to be able to send our teams to get some training and stuff in early childhood and whole child development. So
Did we submit the request for it yet?
I have not. It's on my agenda for tomorrow, right after, let's see, 1 o'clock is when I'm
Okay.
starting to work on it. If you're bored and you want to come down at 1 o'clock, I'd be
I'm
happy to.
actually in Head Start at time. But at last we
Yeah.
talked,
Yeah.
we were talking about books so that kids have books
Right,
at home, but this
right.
is great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
and
thought
that
this
they're
might be-
behind it. Yeah,
Because it's always,
I'll proofread it.
training for staff is always, it's always a large expense. The districts are always fighting, trying to be able to do that, so.
if you shoot it to my work email when I get back at 2:30, I'll proofread
Perfect.
and add to, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
great.
Okay, board policies, first reading.
You skipped over something.
Oh, I'm sorry, mentor program, I'm sorry.
Because you don't like, wait a minute.
Sorry
now.
about that.
This one we get through
Made some real points on that one.
Yeah, boy, well done.
You should have been here last month, Jeanette, we got done at 20 to 8.
Was somebody here last month? You was here last month.
Were you?
Yeah. I think so.
We got done early, huh? Is that right?
Yeah.
Want to get done early?
Oh, don't, I mean,
No.
I'm committed to being here as long as.
He's just picking on you, huh?
I'll share. So I think there's enough coffee.
Oh, okay.
There we are.
So one-on-one mentoring, there are currently 17 active matches. The highest point when Kathy was doing this was 27. We have had 3 graduate last year, and several of our juniors have decided to complete their matches because of work and sports and stuff. And I'm feeling encouraged because some of our less productive matches have been closed, and we're really focusing on the younger kids, not excluding the junior high kids or senior high kids in any way, but really focusing on the younger ones where we can get that long relationship going. Let's see, a lot of them are continuing outside of the program. We made 6 new matches since school started. So that was pretty neat. Just did one this afternoon. I've got one more next week, so kind of went crazy when school started. Team mentoring started in Paisley and North Lake last week, couple weeks ago, this month. And I haven't got the numbers for Paisley. She told me it went well, but she didn't tell me how many kids were there. There were 8 in North Lake, which we kind of had a downturn last year, so 8 is up. I think we started off with 4 last year and ended up with 12, so starting off with 8 is encouraging. Paisley averaged about 14 last year, and I'm assuming that's what they've got again this year. And we have the same ladies coordinating those. Mean Girls, are you guys familiar with Go Girls at all?
No.
Okay, well, we changed Go Girls to Mean Girls. Must end all negativity. We thought Mean Girls with the movie might get some more girls in, and Isabel, my assistant, who is graduated from Lakeview High School 2 years ago, is kind of heading that up and really recruiting the girls in so far. She's doing a great job. They started off with 8. 3 weeks ago, they had their 3rd session today. And they meet every Wednesday after school. We are starting a peer mentor program. Juniors and seniors are gonna go down at breakfast time to the elementary school and meet with
Nice.
kids. Yeah, we're
Nice.
kind of excited about this. We're gonna start off slowly and casually and then work in a curriculum into it. So every other week they'll go down with a little curriculum, and then the following week it'll be just kind of get together time. And the kids are gonna rotate. We have 15 kids signed up to do that, and they're gonna rotate different days. So Sally will go on Monday, and Bob and Jenny will go on Wednesday. They'll each have their set days that they meet with their youth down there at the elementary school. And Mrs. Young at the high school has been, it wouldn't be going without her. So,
That's great.
yeah. CTE workforce mentoring, I'm assuming you all know about the revitalization grant the high school got. They wrote in a portion of that for the mentor program to recruit business people in Lakeview to mentor students. Teach them soft skills through job shadowing and whatnot. And so that is getting going pretty strong. We're a little behind the ball on that one because of the bids needing to come in. They've got the shop. I think, Jack, haven't they started to work on the shop? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we're ready to get the mentoring portion into place and hope to have that going strong by the end of the year. And we've had quite a few businesses interested in doing that. We're calling it homegrown workforce. So build your own, basically.
That's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. And in the works, Project Magic, we want to get a boys enrichment program going as a counterpart to Mean Girls, because our boys need that as much as the girls do. We've all been talking about North Lake, and we've been talking with Mr. Kerr and Mr. Simons up there about getting one-on-one mentoring going in North Lake. It's not going to be easy. We have several challenges. Juvenile probation is on board with it and wants to work with us in recruiting mentors and kids to the program. And so we got a grant from the Trailblazers to support that, and we'll be hiring a part-time person up there to recruit mentors and coordinate the program. And just upcoming events, the haunted house. We have a haunted house. You remember?
Oh, I remember that one, yeah.
Okay. Saturday at the fairgrounds, a haunted house and zombie hunt. So we're kind of excited that it's the first time we're trying it and hope to make it an annual thing for everybody.
What's the times?
6 to 9 Saturday. We're not doing it Friday because the last home game is Friday, so we don't want to mess with that. So 6 to 9 zombie hunt, and it's $5 admission to the haunted house or to the zombie hunt, or $15 for an unlimited all-night pass. Go through both as much as you want. And of course the the zombie hunters will have Nerf guns. And the zombies will have eye protection, and that's gonna be in the sale bars. So we're hoping it'll be a good time. We got one of my zombies sitting in the corner there.
Come shoot me.
We're gonna be doing the elf visits again in December, and that's where our last year was our Go Girls, but probably be our Mean Girls dress up as elves, and then people sign up to have the girls come visit their young ones in their home, and they read them a story and do a craft with them, and bring them a little goodie bag from Santa. And so we did that the first time last year, and hope to make it grow this
Do
year.
you do donations?
Oh, yeah.
Or how much, is there a set charge for the girls, or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what that is, but
Okay.
it's like so much for the first child, and then each child extra is a nominal fee, so you're not,
Sure.
getting the price up there crazy.
Okay.
Ouch. And Western Extravaganza, that's our big banquet and fundraiser, is coming up in February. So we are always looking for auction items for that. Anybody has something they would like to donate for auction, that would be wonderful, or if you know someone, send them our way. And last, I would just like you all to look at your papers.
I was gonna say, I read that tonight, that's a
Yeah.
good start on,
Yeah.
talking about the
Oh,
mentoring.
is it,
that's-
Frank?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
this
talking
is,
about the program, yeah.
yeah, we do this, we've done about, what, 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to do them about once a month.
Yeah. So we've been doing it for
Yeah.
some time, so always check your paper monthly for that mentor spotlight to see what we're up to.
Lots of good stuff.
Have you talked to the teachers of these students? Are they noticing a change in behavior and?
Oh, for the mentees? Yeah, I mean, most of them, not all of them. They generally show an improvement in grades, or at least a maintaining of their grades. We get kids, most of our kids are having some problems when they start, and those problems don't just go away because they have a mentor.
Right.
But there is an improvement, yes, but it's not like they suddenly become.
How about the mentor? You see a
Oh.
change in the
Yeah, the
teens
mentors,
like that do, yeah.
I see a big change in the mentors.
Mhm.
And it's harder to see a change, for me to see a change in kids, because kids are changing all the time.
Mhm.
You know, that's just, when you get someone my age, you can see when there's a change.
But there isn't a system for you to
Yeah.
measure that.
Yeah,
Oh, there is.
well, there is, I personally have a thing with surveys that are subjective, because I think they're hard to measure. Where you can really see the difference is in the grades, in the attendance. But we do give them, when they start off, a survey, and then periodically, quarterly, they retake that survey. The problem is, I need to redo that because our kids who have been in the program for a while, they already know the question, and they're, you know, because they've already taken that, they take it. There's one this quarter, then the next quarter there's a second one, then the third quarter we go back to the first one. And so the kids who have been in the program for a while already know what they're gonna answer.
Right.
So I'm not getting,
Yeah.
I feel I'm not getting straightforward answers that really mean anything.
Have you had any of the students graduate from high school?
Yeah, 3 did last
How are
year.
they doing?
You know, I don't know. One is in Klamath going to college. One is here in town, and I don't think he's employed. I see him walking around. I know that he had been in special ed, and his mentor passed away this past month. And the other one, I don't know what he's up to. I do know that he became a father before he graduated. So maybe that's why I haven't heard from him. He's busy changing diapers or
Would be a
something.
jarring responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the first one graduated last year. The first mentor in the program and the first graduate graduated last year. And then this year we had 3. I'm not sure how many we're gonna have this year. I'll have to go count. But yeah, they stick with, you know, there's a 73% retention rate on our mentors,
Nice.
which is,
Wow.
That's very
Yes.
nice.
yeah, that's huge. And the ones that get into it just really seem to love it, so.
It's great.
That's what I
Thank you.
hear.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Great,
Leanne.
lots of
Thank
new
you.
stuff and lots of addition,
Lots
adding
going
to it,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I bit off more than I can chew. Oh, so do you mind if I leave?
Yes.
No, thank
Yeah.
you for coming.
Oh, thank you for
It's
having
good
me.
to hear
I
all
love
the
to tell
things
about
that's
the program.
happening.
Yeah, so we appreciate your hard work.
Yeah,
It's well
thank
worth
you.
It is, it's worth it.
Yeah, big steps, shoes to step into,
Oh, I
but you
know.
have done a great job.
Yeah.
You have done
I hope I
really
didn't
good.
fill them with cement and
No,
junk.
no. You haven't
Thank
sunk
you.
I was gonna
yourself.
say, we're still here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
you're
here,
doing,
so-
yeah, and it's.
Tell those mentors thank you, because that's all they get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we give them t-shirts, and
Oh.
and we regularly recognize them in the paper, and, yeah, the mentors make it go, so I
Yeah.
like to be sure that they are acknowledged and thanked. So, and thank
Let them
you.
tell them we appreciate it.
I
Thanks
will.
again, Leanne.
Good night.
Great night.
All yours.
Oh, mine.
Yeah, they're
Oh, my
really-
goodness.
You know, but-
All right, okay. So the reporting of suspected child abuse, which is the first one, JHFE. That is an AR. The only thing, you can see the different colors and things like that. The part on the bottom of the last page, this was in our other policy. It's not in the recommendation from the current, on this current one recommended by OSBA. We thought this should be, be in our policy. That we're not going to, we're gonna hold people, not liable for trying to, report something.
So you want what's in red state?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the red to stay, so. So basically what I did is I went on through here and I don't know, I'm still working with Taylor to work through these. So if you look down at the very bottom of the second page, number 1, I crossed out the words "or school," and I crossed out the words in blue, I crossed out there, and the word "school." And then on the next page, see, when the superintendent or designee is notified that DHS or law enforcement would like to interview a student, I crossed out at the school under the jurisdiction of the ESD. We don't have a school on ESD property. Then it says, then right underneath the crossed out red.
Before you go there,
Okay.
because I read this 3 times because of these or and designees and not, where it says under the jurisdiction of ESD, on ESD property, the superintendent or, and you crossed out representative, so that or needs
Yeah.
to go too.
Right, the ordinance,
Oh, yeah.
thank you, good catch.
Well, no, I had them marked out other places, but then there was a designee, so, okay.
Okay, then right underneath the red cross out, this says, I left program supervisor or designee. Should not deny the interview based on the investigator's refusal to sign the form. Get rid of the brackets. Again, got rid of the blue at the school or, we don't have it. Left program supervisor. And then the next line down, the blue, the or school, cross that out. And I'll give you my copy if you would like. And then I left program supervisor in the last blue, I just took out the brackets on that. And then the last paragraph in that section, the or school, I took that out. Okay? Those would be my suggested changes on that policy.
Okay.
Jack,
Yeah.
refusal to sign the form.
Yeah.
Stop. That, I didn't understand it, plus I'm not sure which form they would sign.
Okay, so this is one of those situations where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Okay, so in schools, the law has changed and we're being given policy, okay? And so we're trying to follow the law and this kind of stuff. And so this is the form, okay?
Oh, okay.
This next policy is the form, okay? And this form is, by law, is supposed to be filled out by the school district when an agent comes to interview a child on school property, okay? Well, the right hand didn't tell them that they're supposed to fill this out, or they're supposed to sign this. So we've got pushback from DHS and from law enforcement saying, no, we're not signing this,
But
I'm law enforcement.
all
I'm-
it is identifying them, basically.
So we're telling people, if they refuse to sign it, you fill it out
Okay.
and initial it and just say, okay, what is your badge name, what is your, what is it, okay, who are you? And you write it in, and then you just initial it, you put your name and
Okay.
sign it,
Right.
that way we know who it was.
Right,
Yeah,
because they won't.
Oh, so they don't get to remain anonymous.
Right,
Yeah.
right, it still gets filled out, it's just whether they fill it out or we fill it out.
okay.
Okay, so that's, okay.
Okay.
What?
Right,
It hasn't been resolved because our powers that be are saying, don't fill it out.
yeah,
So
That's what I'm saying, the right hand is not telling the left hand, so
Right.
somewhere
Well, I
in
think
the
right-
law.
I think the left hand is right and the right hand is wrong.
Then what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it is.
But the
kind of-
common to break the ice is someone's gonna put it down for the officer who's too
yeah,
busy.
you know,
Yeah.
but the law is very specific in
It's
saying that
supposed to be.
the schools you can't deny them the
Right.
access to the
Yeah.
child.
You have to let it,
Yeah, so I mean, and that is a good thing, and that has changed, because a lot of schools did push back on law enforcement, on DHS, saying, no, you can't talk to this child, they're in school, they're busy, and no, you're gonna have to do it on your own time and on your outside of the school. And that was a huge issue, in some schools. And that, I mean, which was ridiculous, I mean,
Yeah.
law enforcement and DHS are not there for the detriment of the child, they're there for the, to help out the child, so, anyway. So on this AR2, on the first page, if you notice, the only thing that I've crossed out is all of the or schools. There's one, two, there's another one, I missed that
Let's see,
one.
the real bone of contention is the student name,
What's that?
you know, on this.
Oh, on this investigation fill out?
Yeah, because here it goes into somebody's file and it's really nobody's business.
Right.
They have, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's, again, it's one of those things that our lawyers at the or the OSBA are telling us one thing, your lawyers are telling you one thing, and the law is out there somewhere in the middle, and
Yeah. it hasn't
so
been-
once
we haven't-
this is
we haven't
filled
figured it
out,
out,
where
yeah.
does this go?
You keep it.
Who keeps it?
it's put into a file.
Yeah.
Somebody has a file folder, they stick all these in it, and at some point,
Yeah, like the students file then, or?
it wouldn't go in the student file, it wouldn't be part of permanent records,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
so,
And
It's kinda
so
dicey.
if,
yeah.
yeah,
And
so if
that's-
someone's filling this form out for a police officer or DHS worker, a teacher or whoever, then I guess they give it to the principal or something and then it's put somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's another thing it doesn't talk about, what's the purpose of this, where's it
Yeah,
at, why is it
yeah.
there, what's,
and why not student initials instead of, I mean,
I
if you
mean,
got a
it's
date of the
ridiculous
person, you
because
know what
I know law enforcement does, I'm assuming DHS does also, but they have a record of everything that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they fill out their book, I mean, they've got those tablets and stuff, and they say, I went and spoke with, Dale today and talked to him about, his speeding ticket and whatever, and I mean, they record all that stuff, and those are, they can't throw them away, I'm assuming they're all archived at some point, so.
I found it, child welfare assessment is kept for, I think it's 30 years.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so,
Yeah,
so why we have to, I
Yeah,
don't know, I'm just trying to follow our laws.
I guess the
and
schools,
so-
yeah, are trying to protect if they're involved, yeah.
And if you're in law
If it's
enforcement,
on
you know what
their
you're doing, while you
property.
keep your personal notes for years in case something comes back.
Right,
So you know what you.
yeah.
This immunity clause, do we know for sure we can put that in there?
I don't, and I'm gonna talk, I'll have to find out
Okay.
from the OSBA lawyer if that's okay.
Okay.
That was in our last one,
Yeah.
but it's not in this one, so that's why I have them Taylor color it red, because I wasn't sure.
Got it.
You know, if you're gonna be decent, you really should have that. If somebody in good faith makes a complaint,
You can't be sued.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Good faith for one
reality,
thing, the-
reality
Sure.
is, if somebody makes a complaint against their boss, and the boss is found, at worst, you really shouldn't have done that,
The thing is, the referral
There-
source is
there-
never
there's-
revealed.
Right.
People can assume who they think is,
In
but,
in reality,
yeah.
there could be some pushback, and,
Yeah.
a savvy boss could find a way to,
But that's in all things, all things, harassment. You call in, you say, I have reason to believe this is my concern. The referral source remains anonymous. The only way we can tell is if a judge tells us. People can guess, and even if they guess right, we don't say, oh, yeah, you're right.
or it could even go the other way, all of a sudden an employee makes a complaint and doesn't really go anywhere, and and decides to be late every day, and so you discipline for it. You get disciplined for it, and they say, you just did that because I made the complaint, you know? It can go both ways, but reality is, pushback could occur. It could occur.
My concern is just that from a policy perspective, I'm not certain we could make that.
Yeah, it's in our current policy,
Yeah.
so, but we can,
I think
Make-
it's part of the
so.
I think it's part of the
Oregon
mandatory.
Revised statute.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mandatory reporter. So therefore, then we wouldn't need to reiterate it in a,
Yeah.
Right, it's one of those, you don't need to say it because it's already in law,
and
but,
then therefore we don't need to defend ourselves if somebody does get sued and they say, well, but you had it in your policy that that wouldn't happen.
Who they probably sue
Yeah.
is probably child welfare.
maybe their
What's your
pockets are
policy
bigger.
say?
I'm gonna get a cash,
Exactly.
I'm gonna get a cash cow,
But
that's what.
Yeah.
that's my only thought, is that if,
Yeah, I will
we
check
don't wanna
it,
get
I'll check
caught
with the
in
lawyers
that
before we.
crossfire.
Yep.
There can be a
Yep.
mess there, so.
Definitely.
I mean, this is already.
But, I mean, for people to think they can be sued may keep someone from doing the right thing, which is making a legitimate call if they have a concern about a child.
Okay, JHFF. Oh, are there any more questions on the AR? Okay. The one thing I do like about the AR is the second sentence. It says the Department of Human Services or Law Enforcement AG has the authority to conduct investigations of a report of child abuse on ESD or school premises. So, right off the bat, first thing, so if anything, I think this was created to clarify it for school staff to get out of the way and let those folks do their job. So,
Yeah, I remember when that's.
yeah. Okay, so for JHFF, the number of different things to cross out and stuff in this one, or basically just a lot of brackets. I pretty much left, my suggestion would be to leave all the words. The or volunteer, leave that, just get rid of the brackets. Contractor, comma, or agent of the ESD, or volunteer, so I got rid of all those brackets. Next one, when the ESD receives a report of sexual conduct by a contractor or agent, so I got rid of the I got rid of the brackets on that one, or agent of the ESD. And then in the last paragraph there, it says, in the middle, the employee may appeal the ESD's decision through the appeal process. And I got rid of the brackets on that one. So, and then the very last set of brackets, a substantiated report means a report of sexual abuse or sexual conduct, and then it goes down, and the last bracket is at the very, very end of the paragraph, so.
We don't have a collective bargaining agreement.
Right, it is. I just left it on there because it says if applicable,
Okay.
and that way in case we ever did have one, we wouldn't have to go check and change policy, so. On that
We
one.
like that.
Yeah. We try to make it last a little longer. This one lasted quite a while, 2013, so it lasted 5 years, that's not bad. So. Okay, and then the last one is public solicitation in district, or excuse me, in districts or ESD facilities. And then that one, I put the last, or the first yellow paragraph, the last part there, I said superintendent or designee. We don't have a principal, so I got rid of that. It says either, then in the next paragraph, the latter section, it says in schools or grounds. We don't have schools or grounds. And then unless authorized by the superintendent or designee, and then I got rid of principal. Same thing in the next paragraph, got rid of and or principal, in the brackets there, so.
Can you take out the word either?
Really
Shall not be
short
permitted in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, good, yep,
Is that right?
yep, get rid of the word either.
Either, yeah.
Okay.
Good catch.
You try to read these and you read.
Oh,
and you read
yeah.
them, and well, then I have to wake myself up after reading these, you know.
In the middle of the night, you wake up
Think
at 3 in the
of a
morning going, "Oh,
situation
these are-"
that policy was the result of, like what kind of solicitation was going on or would have been going on or?
Fundraising, basically anybody coming in wanting to have something done or wanting to sell something to
Like
employees.
the fall
or-
brush ban stuff.
Yeah, that type
For
of
those
thing,
where you
or
put it on.
candy bars, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
you know, but
it's not like if your kids are selling something, so you ask
Yeah,
your
well, it says from
coworkers or
non-school
something.
activities,
Yeah.
you know, so if we had the football team, you know, 2 of the football players come in and say, hey, we're selling candy bars, you guys want anybody want to buy some? We don't have an issue with that. It's when an outside agency comes in and said, hey, you know, we're trying to, I don't know, build a city park, and we're looking for
Yeah.
donations.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you,
that's not,
I get you,
that needs to be done after hours.
yeah.
Okay, second reading
Yeah. We
on policies.
went through these really good last time.
Anybody have any issues with anything?
One of these we chopped up pretty good. Now, one of these, I know we took a lot out, but so now it was kind of,
Most weren't big changes.
Yeah.
We've beaten these.
yeah, these we did really a lot
Numerous
last week,
times.
yeah. Anybody catch anything from our,
Any additional changes?
Are we good then? Okay, OSB legislative policies and priorities.
Okay, that was, I think, probably mailed to you folks, but I just wanted to make sure you all got a copy of the stuff. That's just what OSBA, what they're looking at as far as their legislative stuff for 1920. I have no reason to talk about it unless you guys want to, but you're welcome to.
I had just one, maybe I misunderstand, but the last one, 5.3 county timber payments. County timber payments don't really go to the school district, by my understanding. Don't they go into the state pool?
We do the general fund, don't
And,
they?
yeah, and it becomes general fund. Yeah, they were correct, the loss of timber money is a net loss to the entire funding system,
Right.
and every school is impacted. But the ones that are really impacted are the ones that have national forests within their school district boundary. They lose it all pretty much.
Okay.
And then the next, that's your,
Something.
the changes to the bylaws that were approved by the OSBA on September 15th, for 2008. So unless you guys have opinions on them or whatever, that it sounds like they're gonna pass.
It doesn't matter, does it?
you guys missed a great dinner last week.
Oh,
In Casey, they went over some of the voter things while we were there. Prime rib was very good.
I forgot.
you had.
We wondered because it was
really?
in the back
I
of your
forgot.
stomping grounds.
You
Yeah.
missed a great
I
meal.
know, and I was like, it's right there, and I go, oh.
They had
Yeah.
leftovers, some of us were taking.
That's
tri-tip
what I heard.
home.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they had a whole tray of
Yeah.
tri-tip that we didn't eat, and we're just
Oh,
like,
wow.
we put it on about 6 or 8 different plates, and
My plumbing went south.
That's what we heard, we thought
Yeah.
maybe you were sick.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
were kidding on the way up there, your wife wouldn't get her desserts, and then someone told us
yeah.
it was your plumbing.
I explained that to the secretary, I said, boy, I got a plumbing problem.
Yeah, Taylor told us when we
And
got
then I
up there.
said, well, let me explain.
My house?
Yeah, my house, that's probably probably, yeah.
I'm sure Taylor appreciated that.
My favorite thing was you got to do the surveys electronically.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nobody had to write it.
No,
Nope.
you punched it in and you showed instantly how the group, by a bar graph, how everybody responded.
You know, the interesting
So
thing
much
about that,
faster.
at the end, I would have liked to have seen a regional layout.
Oh, yeah, of all
Of,
what the
of
others.
all the other,
Yeah.
other regions on what their opinions were on those
What
same.
did they ask you?
Oh, it was mostly on budgeting stuff and where are you gonna cut? And it was never pleasant. I mean,
And they would say, oh, this goes along with most of the other regions.
that's the only thing we got, is it?
Yeah,
Well, this
we didn't
doesn't
know.
surprise us, it follows.
Yeah, and sometimes
No,
they say, oh, that's surprising. Wow. Yeah, that would have been good.
I would have liked to have seen
Yeah.
where we compared with everybody else.
Yeah.
Who was there? The
Oh, there was-
OSBA people, who came over?
She's the one's been there several
Two
years.
ladies,
Lady.
yeah.
The one lady's been
Same
there
one that's
several
been there,
times.
yeah.
Probably Lori Sansfield,
She's the
real petite.
Lobbyist.
lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Goes to the Capitol and then.
Mhm.
But it was, I thought the best one I've ever been to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
No, we're always their last one. It's like the tail end of their.
Yeah.
Okay, new check signer.
So we're requesting that we put Taylor on, as a, as the administrative assistant, put her on as a check signer. Because right now, it's basically, what, me and Mike, and who else?
John, I think you're on there.
And John.
Vicky
I'm on
is.
there.
Yeah. It would just be, it would just be a lot easier, especially with, Mike's gone a lot, he's out of the building quite a bit. We don't like to have Debbie sign checks that she's creating the checks. So we try to avoid that. So it would just give us a second to sign everything in the building, so.
No, I don't see it because I've had come in and run in and sign checks and then they've got to wait for Mike or him to sign them. So
Everybody good with
she's
that?
here,
Need a
yeah.
motion, or anything, do we?
That's
Just-
the
We need a
reason.
motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
She's
that we-
assistant.
Debbie was a check signer, yeah.
Okay.
But now she's making the checks.
So this is
Make a
just
motion
in
with
keeping
Taylor.
with the,
Actually, we gotta go into action items.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
in
Okay.
keeping with what was already.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to action items. Do I have a motion to approve the board policies, the second reading?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And check signer, everybody, do I have a motion for that?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll
So,
second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
If there's nothing else, that will be all. Thank you.
Not too bad.
Hey.
Yeah. Who's the nose? That's what-
Yeah, took the time.
Oh,
You kept it in an hour.
Yeah, well, yeah, if I hadn't been late.
And that was with
Well, we
conversation
didn't,
about.
we didn't know you were late, we were dilly dallying, it's our fault too.
Dale, I need you.
If you'd have been early, you'd been locked out anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Renew my license.